Hello, my name is Charmaine Erica Marinas, and for my final art project, I decided to focus on how art has been used for protest to fight for human rights throughout U.S. history. One such instance includes the piece on my cover page by Four Freedoms, titled Make America Great Again. This work is in response to the nomination of Donald Trump as president-elect. It was installed a few weeks prior to Election Day in Pearl, Mississippi. The billboard features a famous image by James Martin, which includes unarmed protesters confronting Alabama state troopers on March 7, 1965. This day became infamously known as Bloody Sunday. Hank Willis Thomas, a co-founder for Four Freedoms, says that on that day, America was great, as it stood up against injustices, even when their opposition was their own government. This is one example of how art has been used as a platform for protest in U.S. politics, specifically in the previous controversial election. To keep it simply, art has been used to spread awareness of the inequalities throughout history. The use of art in protest has not been limited to the U.S. alone. In fact, artists from other countries have used art to shed light on the oppression they felt due to their own personal social injustices. Protest in art has taken many forms, from song, poem, to the classical medium of canvas and paper. Art has been used in the U.S. for segregation and slavery, while countries such as South Africa used it during the apartheid. The topic of war is also a common theme in which art has been a platform for protest. Some examples include Faith Ringgold's Love Black Life and Carl Riabel's Air Raid over Hamburg. Ringgold's artwork depicts her position on the exclusion of black artists from the Whitney Museum of American Art. She played a crucial part on the protest because she was a main participant across many artists' activist groups, such as the Art Workers Coalition, the Black Emergency Cultural Coalition, and the Ad Hoc Women Artists Committee. Ringgold wanted to promote the presence of black artists in art exhibits and museums. Ending discrimination within the art world was a social justice that Ringgold fought for. Rival, on the other hand, focused on war. His piece is from the Axis point of view during World War II. He publicly incriminates the Allied bombings that occurred during those events. His work depicts the struggles that occurred on the other side of the fight. The side that lost also had atrocities enacted upon them. In today's society, art is still used as a form of protest for social injustices. The same issues that artists have struggled against in the past are still very much apparent during contemporary times. Artists still fight for freedom of rights and equality. Many rights that artists protest against include wage gaps, speech, and representation in both society and the art world. The two important themes that I will discuss in relation to the recent election include gender and race. I believe that these two topics played a large role in the controversial election. Examples of both the mentioned themes include the Guerrilla Girls' We Sell White Bread and Ilma Gore's Rise Up Thy Young Blood. Though one of these pieces are not directly protesting the past election, it is still addressing concerns that were common during those campaigns. The Guerrilla Girls are an anonymous protest group that focuses on gender and ethnic biases. As stated on their website, the Guerrilla Girls aim to fight discrimination and support human rights for all people and all genders. Their piece, We Sell White Bread, is directly aimed at the privilege given to white men in the art world. Ilma Gore's artwork has always been in response to the controversy of Donald Trump's presidency. Gore's Blood mural is based on the 19th century work of Henry Mosler's The Birth of the Flag. She aims to create unity with her mural by bringing people together, both physically and ideologically, to fight against social injustices. Gore's use of blood as her media attempts to unite the citizens of America. She conveys that though people have different colored skin and backgrounds, we are all humans, essentially filled with the same substance, blood. In the recent election, we have seen many issues that were more present in one candidate's campaign over the other. For Hillary Clinton, gender roles were questioned when she became the Democratic president-elect. Throughout history, America has never witnessed a female to lead the country as president. Suffrage wasn't even achieved until the 1920s through the 19th Amendment. Women have only been able to vote for about 100 years. This is a small number compared to almost 300 years that have passed since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. For Donald Trump, race differences were challenged during his campaign. We have all seen many of his statements being broadcasted on various news channels on his stance on Muslims and the status he believes they should have. Trump has also mentioned many times on creating a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border to prevent illegal migration into our country, on the assumption that all Mexican immigrants are illegal. Artists have protested for and against both candidates on these matters and more. I have provided examples of the pro and anti Clinton works, as well as the art that demonstrate pro anti Trump stance in the election. For pro Clinton art, we can see many forms of empowerment for women. An example includes a collaboration with Mana Urban Arts Initiative and Oleg called hashtag I'm with her. Notice how the crochet banner's hashtag specifically includes her, and not a variation of Clinton's name. This piece obviously promotes feminism by making the most prominent color pink, a stereotype girl's color, and the careful word choice of the hashtag. Speaking of feminists, Molly Smith in her series titled I Feel Like Hills also follows the same suit as Oleg. Smith focuses her art products towards the hope of having more women lead the country. She uses Clinton's ambitions to empathize with young women and girls. As stated on her website, Smith mentions that by looking to Clinton as a role model, little girls who are also watching can learn that anything is possible. For the last example of pro-Clinton art, I represented work from another feminist artist. Deborah Cass in her piece called Vote Hillary follows a theme that has been apparent with the two previous examples. Cass demonstrates how Clinton can bring about change by not merely writing Vote Clinton on the bottom, but in fact chooses Hillary to differentiate her from her husband and past candidates. For the anti-Clinton side of things, most artists challenge her gender role in society. Anthony Scioli's Naked Hillary was made in response to the circulating naked Trump sculptures that appeared in the U.S. Scioli mocks Clinton's role in the Democratic Party and attempts to body shame the candidate. Clinton is literally seen as having donkey legs, with a Wall Street banker resting on her nude body. Other conservative artists, such as Sabo, have extremely criticized Clinton as being a totalitarian, left-wing dictator in waiting. The piece called The Walking Dead, Clinton is compared as being worse than Negan, the villain of the AMC series. Again, her ability to lead the country as a woman is challenged by the poster. Another controversial anti-Clinton protest art includes LeShucks and his Clinton in a swimsuit mural. The street artist has always been known to degrade women in his work. Clinton is overly sexualized and even now depicted as a woman who uses her body to make money. Lucian Wintrick and his Daddy Will Save Us pro-Trump art show is an example of the pro-Trump art that has been created during the election. The performance art in which Milo participates in makes a statement in regards to how the media has skewed the racial ideals of Donald Trump. James O'Keefe, founder of Project Burritos, and his emotional first aid kits, takes aim at the easily offended left-wing college students at the University of Houston. He, along with the staff there, came together to create tote bags that were filled with stuffed animals to ease the pain of the leftist students. Martin Shkreli, former Turing Pharmaceutical CEO, presents his piece titled Pill 2016. His work represents capitalism and the human inability to progress further. Though this piece does not directly deal with race, Shkreli's piece defines the political race colors as red or blue. As you can see, pro-Trump art is very controversial, to the point that this art show is one of the few events I have found that include legitimate artists on this topic. While doing my research, I realized that it was not difficult to look for anti-Trump art. One famous form of anti-Trump art includes a project by T-Rep, a collaboration between David Gleason and Mary Mihalik, and their T-Rump bus. The pair not only used the bus to mock Trump, but they also attended the rallies to challenge his followers on his racial ideas. In addition, another artist protesting against Trump includes street artist Plastic Jesus. His infamous work includes building a physical wall around Trump's Hollywood star. His piece focuses on attacking Trump's ridiculous policies that regard his racial issues against Mexican immigrants, rather than criticizing Trump's character. Another artist, Pegasus, on the other hand, directly attacks Trump's character by comparing him to Hitler. The artist believes that Trump's statements regarding classifying Muslims and painting Islamic cultures as violent is similar to Hitler's methods. Pegasus' statements include warning America of who can be elected into the presidency, and that the past, his reference to Hitler, can be repeated. The protests have brought up important issues that were apparent in the election and have also questioned the character of both candidates. Regardless of the protests set forth from artists on both sides, the election outcome has created larger issues. Today, many Democratic Party members are further enraged, and the result has led to many more protests, such as the Black Lives Matter movement. After the repealing and enacting of multiple policies such as Obamacare, some of the right wing has realized that they regret the outcome of the election as well. In addition, other artists from other countries around the world, such as London and Australia, have stated their dislike for Trump. In conclusion, many more artists have begun to use their art to continue their battle.